Roppstar gang, what up, what up? Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Roppstar Report. Of course, if you're new here, make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Make sure you click that post notifications bell so you don't miss out on new content. Just like last night, some of you guys probably didn't even know I posted up a video last night. So, and I did. I'm probably going to start doing some more of those pre-recorded videos and get them out to you guys. So that's what I posted last night talking about Dave Canales and all that. So yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. Or not Dave Canales, but what I talked about last night. Sorry. Tonight, we're going to be talking about some early draft prospects I've already taken a liking to. A couple guys. Some guys may shock you. Some guys, you may not have. That pre-recorded video was dope. Yeah, I'm probably gonna start doing some more of those to help to bring some more content to you guys as well. Pre-records are gonna start coming in a lot more. Just because that really doesn't take me that long to make. Get ready to learn CJ Allen. CJ Allen's not on my list tonight, Machado. There's a few guys on my list. CJ Allen isn't on it yet. Not saying I haven't looked into him, but also, let me share my screen real quick. What's up, Zach? What's up, Zach? Appreciate you guys. I also got game film. So, for example, I think one of the guys I want to do, linebacker, of course. Where is he at? Where's my guy? Where is he? There's Averill Reese, but it's not someone we're going to be able to get, so I'm not going to get him. Oh, game film. Yes, I have game film. See, people don't realize your boy put in that work for the draft. The problem is I don't have game film on Sony Styles yet, and he's one of the guys I want to talk about. That is one of the issues I ran into tonight. I do not have. I'll get them after. I don't have Sony Styles. That's the only one I don't have. Trying to find it. Hold on. Let's see. What else? What do I have here? I got running backs. I got wide receivers. I got all position groups. It's just I'm trying to see who I have. I got Nick Harbor, okay, Devontae Ross. I do have Mekhi Lemon, who was on my list tonight. I also got Kenyon Sadiq as well, who's on my list tonight. Averill Reese is Airvel Reese. I thought it was Averill. I apologize. Airvel Reese. I do got Caden McDonald, who I'll probably use tonight, maybe. Edge rushers. I got pretty much most of these guys. Arvel. Oh, Arvel. Sorry. See, I'm still pronouncing it wrong. Arvel. Linebackers. The only one I don't have, surprisingly enough, is Sony Styles. Oh, I do have Sony. Never mind. What am I talking about? Right here. I do have Sony Styles. Okay. We got the Texas. I got him for the Texas game. I got him for both Texas games this year. And I've got him for the Wisconsin as well. And then what about what's an edge defender I want? Cassius Howell is another guy I'm probably going to look at. Let me see what Cassius Howell's got. Got Cassius Howe. I got his Notre Dame and Arkansas game. Okay. So I got Shoney Styles. Who else do I want? Okay, Cassius Howe. Oh, let me go back to the tight end. Let me get Kenyon Sadiq. All right, and then I need Peter Woods. Where's he at? He's got TJ Parker. Peter Woods, there he is. Peter Woods. Who else do I need? Oh, I do need TJ Parker. Where's TJ at? There he is. TJ. Kendrick or Keldrick Falk. Who else we need? Where is he at? Auburn. There he is. Keldrick Falk. I like him as well. Oh, we are going to talk about CJ Allen. I do have him on my list. I lied, Machado. I lied. We are going to talk about CJ Allen tonight. I do have him on my list. Do I got Caden McDonald open yet? I don't think I do. Let me get him. Let me go to that wide receiver, Micah Lemon or Makai Lemon. All right, and then I know I got somebody else in here. Who else do I got? I got what tackle is it? I have a tackle. I thought I had a tackle that I wanted to look at. All right. I don't think I have a tackle. Let me see what else we got. I think that's all I need right now. Makai Lemon, Caden McDonald, CJ Allen, Kendrick Falk, TJ Parker, Peter Woods, Kenyon Sadiq, Cassius Howe, Sony Styles. That's what we're working with right now. That's what we're working with right now. That's on my list right now. Okay. That is my list right now. Now it's not it's the early, man. It's early. All right. Macy's Thomas is someone we need. All right. I feel you. But yeah, man, I got all the film, man, right here. This is all my NFL draft film one database. I've got 2026 quarterbacks. I got 2026 running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, offensive line, D line, edge, linebacker, corner. And I even got safeties as well. So we got them all. Fat, skinny, tall. We got them all. All right. Let's get into this, though. Let's get into this. I'm going to pull up PFF because you know I like to use their mock draft simulator and all that good stuff. I know David Bailey, yep. All right, hold on. So PFF came out with their own, what every team needs, right? Or what team will they look at? What player will they look at to get? Okay. So here's the thing. They come out with Cassius Howe, edge rusher out of Texas A&M, which I love bringing in a guy to go alongside Nick Scorton. I don't know if Cassius Howe played with Nick Scorton. I think he actually might have. All right. I think Cassius Howe actually might have played with Nick Scordon. Let me double check that real quick. I don't know if Cassius Howe did. I don't think Cassius Howe played with him. I think Cassius Howe transferred to Texas A&M this past year. All right. But if we're going to be honest, man, all right, if we looked at the Carolina Panthers, what do we need to address, right? Like, what are the top things that the Carolina needs to address? All right. And I think for us, it's edge rusher, linebacker. If I'm picking my top three, it's edge rusher, linebacker. I'm gonna say left tackle now because of the Ike Ekwonu situation. Okay. The reason why I think we know why the edge rusher is a big one, right? Because we want somebody like if we can have somebody alongside, like think about it this way. Edge rusher wise, okay? You bring somebody in, right? Someone who's got some speed off the edge, and you add in someone like a Cassius Howe. I think I'm not opposed to Cassius Howe at all. I like Cassius Howe. Okay. Um, I think that if you bring his speed in with then you got in Brown's interior power and then you got Scorton's versatility, suddenly your front becomes a problem instead of just solid, right? I like PFF giving us this guy, right? I like the fact that that's something there, right? But I think the edge rushing room, we have to address the edge rushing room. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got to understand one thing. The Carolina Panthers this past season, when we talk about pressure rates and we talk about um sacks, where do you think we rank? Well, I'm going to show you. So we're going to look up Carolina Panthers 2025 rankings in pressure rates and sacks. Here you go. Even AI can just tell us that. PFF can also tell us that as well. We'll go, maybe you'll go into PFF. Carolina, look, ladies and gentlemen, for the 2025 season, we are near the bottom, around 31st in pressure rates, and we were tied for third in fewest sacks in the league. All right. We got to get pressure off the edge. You need someone who can close the deal. What do I mean by that? Pressure is great. Getting that quarterback off his platform is great. All right. All good and dandy. It does cause mistakes, but we saw too many times where plays were given up and we did not seal it when we should have sealed the deal. There's multiple times that Nick Scordon, probably, I would say at least two or three I can think off the top of my head that he should have finished the deal. Nick Scordon probably should have had 8 to 9 sacks this season. He just did not finish the sack. Right? So again, and then even for PFF, I mean, our defensive line ranked 25, 26. Okay. It's not very good. Not very good. So again, when you look at our defensive rankings, again, even from this article right here from Sports Illustrated, let's see what it says here. So here we go. Carolina ranked 30th in DVOA against tight ends, 28th against the passes, too short over the middle. Um, the Panthers played the fourth highest rate of dime defense, but didn't necessarily have the defense to backs to play that way. While the defense had impressive play from the outside corners, Carolina was a big picked part in the slot. On slot targets, the Panthers ranked 31st in EPA per play allowed. All right. But again, the Panthers ranked 31st in pressure rates and 32nd in quarterback hits. So again, that's why I put edge at number one. I mean, we're just not getting after the quarterback, right? You gotta solidify yourself off the edge. You got to get guys in here that can close the deal. Um, and that's I think that's the biggest thing. I think you getting a guy like that, or maybe a David Bailey, right, or someone like that. If I doubt David Bailey falls to us. I would love to get David Bailey, but I just don't see him falling to us. I see David Bailey being a top 10, top 12 pick at least, right? I don't know who's going to go edge rusher that early. In my opinion, David Bailey is the best edge rusher in this draft class. I think Ruben Bain's great. I think if we're talking about from an overall perspective, David Bailey does it all. All right. When an actual proven edge rusher in this class. I mean, I think that Ruben Bain's one. I do think that David Bailey's one. I do think Cassius Howell is one. And these guys can all improve in certain areas for sure, which we'll dive into each and one of these guys. But yeah, we've got to get some guys off the edge. We got to get guys that can actually proven edge rushers who can, get after the quarterback, and instead of causing just pressures, we got to be able to close the deal. And that's one big thing, right? And that's one of the biggest things I've said, you gotta get it. I think, and if we talk about the defensive line, right? The defensive line, if we want to invest in the defensive line, I'm cool with that too, right? I mean, I get that we invested into it this last offseason, but you bring in Tershawn Wharton, Bobby Brown III through free agency. That did help stabilize some things a little bit, especially when the guys were on the field. The interior still lacks consistent disruption outside of Derek Brown. I think Cam Jackson as a 5th-round pick has some potential, but potential right now I need to see more before that. But I think we need to add more to that group too, right? And of course, the second and most important thing to me before edge rusher, I will say, is the linebacker room. I think our front office has been trying to reshape the front seven, but the position it still lacks a true tone setter in the middle, right? And that's the problem in today's NFL, especially with how often Carolina got gashed between the tackles in late games, right? So again, we got to get this pass rush. The biggest thing is like I said, the pass rush is still some kind of mess. But I think there's also, you could say that I would probably say edge rusher, linebacker, offensive tackle. And then after that, I could also say the tight end room is something that keeps getting ignored. Like, I get that we drafted a tight ends, but look how late we drafted these tight ends. Okay, you're not getting the Colston Lovelands. You're not getting the Tyler Warrens of the world, or even a Brock Bowers, drafting him in the 4th and 5th round, right? Or even the 3rd. Tommy Trimble was a 3rd-round pick. You got Jadavion Sanders in the 5th round. I think you got Mitchell Evans in the 5th round, right? You go look at, our tight ends combined for over 660 yards off of 81 catches and 5 touchdowns. And we're talking about 4 different tight ends. Now, are the numbers better than they were last year? Yeah, from the tight end position, they were. Are they remotely good enough for a playoff team? Not really. All right. I think that's another thing that you got to look into is bringing in a top-notch tight end. Again, I think if you're gonna rank it, I'd say you need more firepower off the edge. You need more stability at linebacker. You need more disruption on the defensive line. You need more stability on the offensive tackle, especially left tackle. But I would think we would be doing a disservice if we left out a tight end out of the top three. I would say the tight end is at least the top five for me. Okay. I'm not sitting here saying that we need to go out and get Sadiq. Okay. Love it, but I'm not saying it. I'm not saying that yet. All right, let's get into some guys, man. Let's get into some guys. All right, let's go into their big board here. Let's go to the PFF big board. And let's start off with a guy that I want to talk about first, which I've already mentioned him a couple times already. Let's get into him real quick. Edge defenders, and let's talk about Cassius Howe. Let's see if they've got any analysis on him yet. Nope, they ain't got any analysis on him yet, but we'll go into here. I wish PFF would put pictures on here, but that's just me. Anyways, Cassius Howe, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is the first guy I want to talk about. Again, since we're talking about the edge rushing room, okay? Again, when we talk about this edge rushing room, when we talk about Cassius Howe, all right, we're talking about a guy who's got great speed off the edge, okay? But I do want to go back and reiterate something to you guys, all right, before I really dive in him. I know that Nick Scorton had a good rookie year. I know Derek Brown is still a monster on the side, but when both of your sack leaders top out at 5 sacks, that's not dominance. That's all right. What's even worse is the next person that was behind them with the next most sacks on the team was your safety, Tre'Von Moehrig. Again, we finished tied for whatever it was in sacks, which was bottom tier, by the way, 31st in pressure rate. So, again, we're almost dead last in one area that matters most when the lights are the brightest. Okay. I think you get you enter in Cassius Howe. Now, I did look up Cassius Howe earlier. I was like, did Cassius Howe play alongside or behind Nick Scorton? Okay, he did, actually. I was wrong. Cassius Howe actually spent the 2024 season behind Nick Scorton and Shamar Stewart. All right. Two first round caliber players. Still managed, all right, on the season. When he was playing behind those guys, when he was playing behind Nick Scorton and Shamar Stewart, he still had 4 sacks on the year, and he had 8.5 tackles for a loss. Once Shamar Stewart and Nick Scorton got out of there, Howell took over the damn thing, 12 sacks on the year, and then 14 tackles for a loss. Okay. So that's not just like nice production, kid. This guy has a first round impact production. Now physically, Hal isn't built like a typical power edge. You're talking about a guy who's 6'4", 245. He's slightly undersized, but that's also why he's so damn dangerous. He kind of reminds me of James Pierce Jr. from last year because of the way he's able to use his bend and speed off the edge. Right? He's so explosive, right? He has a great bend like hell off the edge, and he can win plays fast. That's one thing I like about Cassius Howe. All right. You know, I see people saying in the chat, like T. Thompson, his arms are short. They said the same thing about James Pierce Jr. They said his run defense is mid. They said the same thing about James Pierce Jr. And look what James Pierce Jr. did for the Atlanta Falcons. Okay, we got to stop taking some of this stuff into consideration and wait till they get on the field for sure. But I do think I like Cassius Howe a lot. All right, but the way he's able to win fast is something exactly what Carolina doesn't currently have. We do not have a guy who forces the quarterback to rush decisions instead of standing tall and carving them up, right? I think if you, again, I said it earlier, you pair Howell's speed with Brown's interior pressure, and then you got Scorton's versatility and power on his side, suddenly your front becomes a real problem instead of just solid. And that's how you can change games in January. If you're able to get some edge pressure from Scorton and Howell while you're getting that interior pressure from Derek Brown, because here's the thing, they can't just double team Derek Brown every single time now, especially if you're getting Howell and Scorton, both of them, his Howell speed, the versatility and power from Scorton. That's a game-changing trio right there, if you ask me. That's what you need to be able to get that to seal the deal. That's what we're talking about here. Getting the job done. Earl Locklear, what's up, man? Appreciate you joining. Rock Jones, what's good? DP1. What's up? I guess as Panthers fans, we will always rely on other coaches developing players rather than hiring coaches who can develop and teach talent. DP1, I'm not a coach. Again, Ejiro Evero just finished his second interview with the Las Vegas Raiders. We'll see if he's here or not, man. Like, we have to rely on him to develop players. What the fuck are we talking about? He's our defensive coordinator. Of course we have to rely on him. We have to rely on everybody else on that defensive staff to do it. But guess what? He's here. We're stuck with him. I don't know what else to tell you. I can't fire the guy. So unfortunately, yeah, we have to. Unless he moves on. But unless he moves on, the only other person, I think if he moves on, we got a guy here who I think can develop talent just fine. And his name is Jonathan Cooley. I think he's a guy waiting in the wings to get promoted. If Evero decides to go to Vegas. We'll see. But I like Cassius Howell. Let's go into. Let me go into linebacker. Sony Styles. Actually, let's go into some Cassius Clay film or Cassius Howell. Let me find 2024 Notre Dame. All right. I'm trying to see if I can find a good play here of him. Nope. I want to see a play of him coming off the edge. Hold on, I'm trying to find him coming off the edge, chat. Give me a second. Well, where was he at there? He's getting double teamed there. All right, hold on. Do you have any film on any of the safeties? There's a lot of good day two safety prospects. Yes. Y'all realize we have AC Carter. Yes, we do. It's another guy I would look at it promoting. You're also got to remember, guys, Raheem Morris is out there just chilling. I'd listen. Say what you want about Raheem Morris. I'd bring him in. Say what you want. He would run a 3-4 defense. It wouldn't be no 3 or not a 3-4, it'd be a 4-3 defense if I'm not mistaken. Let me see what Raheem Morris runs. Oh, he does run a 3-4. He runs like a versatile hybrid system. He runs that Fangio Staley principles. Yep. Runs a 3-4 base look with odd even fronts. Cover 3 from 2 high safety shells. Cover 3-4 to defend deep routes. But he does use stunts, simulated pressures, exotic looks to generate pressures. What else does he got? I'm just interested to see what else he's got. All right. All I'm saying is I wouldn't be mad at it. All right. See if we can find a good play here from this kid. All right, let's see. Let's see. All right, let's see if they point him out. All right, so there he is right here. He's right here where this arrow is, I think. So this is, like I said, this is Cassius Howe. There he is right there where the arrow pointed. I got to remember, he's got the green shoes. Right here with the green shoes. I'm just trying to see if I can watch of his film on this one. I was watching some of the other one. Get some pressure here, man. I don't see you get pressure. There you go. Ooh. Ooh, there's the play I was looking for. Damn. Watch this boy shoot this gap. There we go. All right, we got a little we got a little bit of Cassius Howe there. So there's a little bit of Cassius Howe there for you. I like the way he shoot that gap. That's the speed that I'm talking about though, man. That's the speed that I'm talking about. All right. Let's go into Shoney Styles. It is lagging a bit. Yeah, I know. Jalen Kilgore would be so much better than Nick Scott. Rock Jones, we both know that. We both know that. All right, Sony Styles, man. Sony Styles. Now, I think this might be one of Carolina's fan base's like favorite. I think this might be one of like all of Carolina's fan base's favorite for sure. One thing I like about Sony is he's a linebacker that fits the modern football. That's exactly what we need. Like when we got to think about it. When we were good, right? We always have had great linebackers, right? Dan Morgan, our GM, was a great linebacker. All right. Luke Kuechly, you know, John Beeson, Thomas Davis Sr. We've always had good linebackers. All right. So there's no doubt about that. Okay. Right now, the identity is that we're missing the middle of the defense. And I think Sony Styles is a guy who could bring it back. Like Styles is also a former safety who transitioned to a linebacker. It shows in a good way. You're talking about a guy who's 6'4", I think 235. I think they got his measurements on here at least. They've got him at 6'5", 243. I thought he was 6'4", 235. Anyways, he moves like a DB, but he hits like he's trying to knock your soul loose. Over the last 2 seasons, if you add up the tackles he's had total, he's had 185 tackles total. He's had 17 tackles also for a loss. Now the guy doesn't miss a lot of tackles. Missed tackles this year, he only had 2. 2024, he had 19, so an off year. Even in 2023, he had 6. But okay, guy doesn't really miss a lot of tackles though. Okay, so that's one thing that tells me that this guy doesn't have any fluky production. It also tells me that he's a player who's is around the ball constantly as well. That's why you saw the missed tackles in there, which tells me he's constantly around the ball. But only to have missed only 2 missed tackles, and you look at the rest of the numbers. I mean, man, like he's not some outdated run stuffer either. Like Styles that is exactly what that modern NFL, requires linebacker. He can cover tight ends and running backs. He can operate in space. He can still violently enough clean up the run. Behind our defensive line, I think Styles would become that kind of defender offenses have to game plan around and not just react to. I think this is a guy that can make offensive coordinators really think. Off-ball linebacker might not be valued like it once was, but when you find the one who can do everything, that's an absolute luxury and a weapon at the same time. I like Sony Styles a lot. Exactly, T. Thompson. Exactly. I like Caleb Downs. I mean, Amazing K, we ain't getting Caleb Downs. Let's just go ahead and say that. Caleb Downs is going top 5, man. Like, and according to PFF, if I'm not mistaken, they've got him to rank the number 1 player on their draft board. We all want Sonny, but we all know he's going to be gone by 19. That's just true. Linebacker CJ Allen is a good choice too. He is 2.2% missed tackle rate. Absolutely. His 2 missed tackles came from Miami against Mark Fletcher in the playoffs. I bet. I'm sure that's definitely true. Guys, do me a favor. Make sure you get that thumbs up button, man. I appreciate you guys. And if you haven't checked out my latest pre-recorded video, please go check it out. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe, all right? Dante Lawson's a good day 2 pick for linebacker. I mean, I've been seeing on some mock drafts, man, where Jacob Rodriguez is falling to the 3rd round, which is wild. Hold on, chat. I gotta delete some stuff. The reason why my computer's lagging is too much shit open. I got too much shit on my computer opening. Or we give up the 19th pick for Crosby and then sign Devin Lloyd. Y'all are wishful thinking, my friend. Y'all are wishful thinking. I love where your heart's at, but it's very wishful thinking. When have you ever seen a team do that? We got to build this the right way. And I think going through the draft is the right way. I think where you retool is free agency. Where you truly rebuild for the long term and the long haul, and where your team really gets good is from the draft. The linebackers class is good enough not to reach. Exactly. All right, let's move on. Let's go to another. I'm going to go to a random one here. Let's talk about Mr. let's talk about where is he at? Mr. Peter Woods. He probably won't be there. He probably won't be there. But if we want to keep upgrading this defense, I like Peter Woods. Um, Peter Woods has been dominating for a long time, man. Before he went to Clemson, was already a problem for opposing offenses. He came out of high school in Alabama. Um, I mean, he basically owned the damn state. The guy won 4 straight state championships. He had 260 tackles in high school. He also had 72 tackles for a loss, 30 sacks. He was the 9th overall prospect in the entire 2023 recruiting class. And then his freshman year, he only played 301 snaps and earned a freshman All-American honors, which tells you everything you need to know about how fast his impact showed up. And then, of course, 2024 got better. But since then, Clemson has used him all over the place, all over the line. Defensive tackle. They've used him at edge defender. They've even lined him up on offense and jumbo packages just to let his size and athleticism bully people. But Clemson's defense had a down year right last year. But Woods did too. But context matter. That wasn't a one player issue. The entire unit regressed. Honestly, I think it's a Dabo Swinney issue. I've said it before and I say it again. Till Dabo truly adapts to the landscape, all right, of what this college football world is, you're going to see these types of players have dominant years, and then the next year they come back, they're just going to go downhill. That's just me. But what pops off on film is one thing with Peter Woods is he's built like a truck and he moves like a sports car. That's one thing about Peter Woods that I like. He's 6'3", 315 pounds. He explodes off the snap with a first step that interior linemen just aren't supposed to have. Most guys his size play upright, heavy-footed. Woods plays very low, violent, and fast. He has a legit bend too. That the kind where he squeezes through gaps most defensive tackles wouldn't even try to do. That alone makes him a nightmare, I think, for guards, just the way he moves, man. Centers who expect interior rushers to be stiff and predictable. But in his run game, he's just as nasty. He's a strong lower body type of player. He's got violent hands. He anchors well. He can collapse lanes instead of occupying spaces. And then there's stuff that doesn't show up neatly in a box score. He's got a high motor, position flexibility, coachability, doesn't loaf on plays. So again, that's why I think a lot of teams love him. But where he still needs some work, right? He wins a lot, okay, with his raw athleticism than refined technique. That works in college, but that's not going to work here in the pros, right? He doesn't have a deep, polished pass rush moveset. He beats guys with power, burst, effort, but not consistently with counters or step up moves, which that leads to like one frustrating issue. He dominates, but it doesn't always finish. All right. So I like him. I think where he fits in well. I think he's tracking as a first round pick. But I think because of his versatility, he's a defensive coordinator's dream, because whether you run odd fronts or if you run even fronts or you run heavy rotations or hybrid looks, Wood fits. Interior pressure is one of the hardest things for quarterbacks to deal with in the NFL. Woods has that physical profile to live in a quarterback's face without needing a blitz to help, right? He's also reliable against the run, with enough strength and discipline to anchor with that. I think he makes sense here in Carolina. The why I think that he fits this defense um, is that I think Ejiro Evero loves to rotate his defensive linemen to keep them fresh and aggressive in violent games. I think that this system we run, Peter Woods would thrive in when you keep injecting youth and athleticism in that front. But I think Woods fits that philosophy perfectly because he wouldn't need to be the guy right away, right? He could be a part of a deep, flexible, constant defensive line that never lets quarterbacks get comfortable. And if you got Peter Woods alongside Derek Brown, shit, let me tell you something. There ain't nobody getting through that fucking line. I can tell you that. And quarterbacks are going to hate to play us just because if you got a guy like Peter Woods and Derek Brown alongside one another. Um, but when you rotate, but when here's another thing, and when you rotate, uh, including guys who can line up at multiple spots and still generate pressures, which is what he does, that's how defense stop being solid and you start being scared. So again, I like Peter Woods. I think that's another guy we got to take a look at. Let me pull up Sony Michelle or Sony Styles. Let me pull up Sony Styles because I know I did not pull his video up. Let's see if we can find a decent play where Sony had a decent play. Let's see if we can find something here. I do have the Michigan game this year. How did he do in that? I think the Michigan game he kind of went off. Sony Styles. Trying to think. Trying to think what would be the best. I'm trying to find it. Huh. This is against Indiana. Do I have against Indiana? Damn, I don't. All right, hold on. Let me see what Sony Styles did against. I might be able to find a play real quick. Sony Styles versus Michigan this year. Let's see how he did this year against them. Oh yeah, Sony Styles had a good game that game. Trying to find it here real quick. Oh, that's him. Oh, let's see. Let's see. Give me a second, chat. I'm pulling it up. Trying to see if I can find a play that he made. Trying to see if I can find a play he made. Let's see. Sony Styles. Sony Styles. There's got to be a play in this game that he made. Like a legit big play. Hold on, chat. Trying to see if I can get up to Jesus, man. Nothing. Um, Trying to think if maybe there might be a better game. That Sonny Styles had. Okay, how did he do against let's go look against Texas. Let me see what he did in that game. Trying to see if he had a big play anywhere. I can't find anything. All right, that's fine. All right, there he is right there. What's up, Trizzy? Sunny Styles. Sunny Styles. Thank you. I keep calling him Sonny. Sorry for correcting you again. I had to say something. It's fine. It's better that you correct me than I don't. What's up, SC Panthers boy? Illinois game. I don't know. Do I have that one? I don't know if I have the Illinois game. Hold on. I have Michigan this year. I got the Texas this year and Wisconsin game this year. Let's look and see if we see anything on Texas that pops off. I need to really go through these game films again and find plays. All right, he's out here on the outside. Oh, he's covering the tight end. All right. Okay. All right, so a little film on him. Let's go over to hold on. He had a pick against Wisconsin. Well, you got to find out what quarter it was? What quarter and what play? And I can go find it. All right, let's go to Peter Woods real quick. Where'd you have your best game according to PFF, Peter Woods? Not a bad game. You had a really good game against Syracuse. Do I have Syracuse? All right. I don't have Syracuse. Which one do I? Let me see another good game. Was it? Do I have North Carolina or Georgia Tech? Nope. All right. What about LSU? Probably be my best bet then. Poppin', I hear you. I want Woods. I wouldn't mind Woods either. I like Woods too. I like Styles. I like Styles a lot though, from just an all around linebacker standpoint. Uh, all right, so there's the arrow. You see where he's at? God damn, they had to like triple team his ass. First quarter, 17-7. Second. All right, let me see if I hold on. I'm gonna pause this real quick. Let me go back to my linebacker. Thanks, Zach. All right, so let's go to linebacker room. Let me pull up Sony Styles again. We got all the film over here, ladies and gentlemen. So people need film. Let me know. Let me know. I can probably send you some. I might be able to send you some. Might be able to send you some. All right, let's see if I can find that interception. All right, let's see here. You said it was 17. Oh, we're getting close. All right. Maybe right here. Oh, we just missed it. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right, here we go. Here's the pick right here. Sony Styles right there, lined up. Okay, he's going back. Oh, tip. Nice. Oh, it was a tip pass. That's great awareness by him. Try this again. Let's see. Okay, backs off. Tipped. Boom. Nice. All right. There you go, Styles. All right, let's get back to Mr. Peter Woods. Let's get back to Mr. Peter Woods. And then we'll get into some other guys. Click that post notifications bell so you don't miss out on new content. Appreciate you guys as always. Coaching job, which is wild. I thought Brian Flores was going to get. I thought he was going to get a legit head coaching job. I'm surprised by that. I'm surprised by that. All right, hold on, chat. I got to share the stream real quick. Interesting. Yeah, Earl and Trizzy is very interesting. Almost. No, he's still on the inside. That was TJ Parker right there, if I'm not mistaken, number 3. I think that was TJ. Oh, what a way to get off the guy. Watch him. Oh, he's got some moves to him. He's trying to get out over there. Let's see here. Oh, what a move. Wait. Oh, I know he would like to have that one back. All right. Let's move on to my next guy. Let's move on to my next guy. Let's see. I'm actually going to stay with the Clemson homer there. I'm actually going to go back to the edge rusher. And I'm going to go with TJ Parker. We're going to talk about him real quick. Again, pass rush is still one of the big needs. It's my number one need, in my opinion. Again, Scourton and Princely, again, I want to be clear. I think Scourton showed some real promise as a rookie. I think Princely, I need to see more, right? If I'm being honest. But we still need that juice off the edge. We need a closer, right? Someone who can get the sack, right? I think TJ Parker is a guy that can bring that exactly. Am I high on him compared to others? No. But I like TJ Parker, what he can bring, okay, to the table. Let's not forget, TJ Parker came into this 2025 college football year. It's one of the most hype prospects in all of college football. And I get that his production dipped a bit this year. The raw tools are still very much there. He's explosive, disruptive. He has that kind of athletic profile that defensive line coaches love working with. He's not a finished product by any means, but the ceiling is high enough to justify a first round look. For a defense trying to close the gap between solid and feared, that matters. So I think a guy like TJ Parker fits the mold. I'm going to go to another edge rusher in this draft. Let me see if I can find him. I don't know how high they have him on this board. They have him actually pretty decently high. Kedrick Falk. I'm also a big Kedrick Falk fan as well. When you want size and violence off the edge, this is a guy. You're talking about a guy who's 6'6", 290 pounds. Guy's built like a brick shit house. Okay. He's not a space eater, though. He has the strength. He has the hand technique. He's got the leverage to survive and thrive at the next level. He can line up on the edge. He can kick inside, which makes him a really intriguing fit for this. I think Evero's multiple front systems. All right. I do like that about Kedrick Falk. That's one thing I do like about him. He's the type of defender who doesn't just rack up stacks. He's going to make opposing quarterbacks' lives miserable. And he's going to do anything to fuck up your rhythm. Okay. And that's valuable in itself. Now I'm going to go back to the linebacker room. And I think this is one that, of course, a lot of you guys love and mention towards me. And I think it was Machado in the chat, Matt. CJ Allen. He's a big CJ Allen fan, I think. Again, we all know this is probably the second most important position group on the board for me is linebacker. I think CJ Allen is a physical run stuffer who doesn't play scared. He also is athletic enough to hold on his own in pass coverage, which is non-negotiable in today's NFL, right? See, the thing is CJ Allen is not a guy who's going to be a thumper on the field, right? He's that modern linebacker who is got great range, right? Great instincts. He's got that closing speed, right? I think CJ Allen is a guy that you could look at if you really want to lock down the middle of your defense. And I think CJ Allen is worth a look, at least for a first round consideration. All right. I'm going to go back to D tackle real quick as well. I know you're like, well, why are we talking about interior linemen? I like Caden McDonald, man. I've seen Caden McDonald fall in some mock drafts. Again, I don't think building up the trenches ever hurts, right? More and more we build up that front seven, the better. Plain and simple. That we all know that. I think Caden McDonald isn't some flashy interior pass rusher. He brings something more important, though. You look at that run defensive grade at 91.2. Holy fuck. Let's just say this. He knows how to stop the run, right? He would immediately help stabilize that interior pressure alongside Derek Brown. Could you imagine having Caden McDonald or even Peter Woods? We could say both for those guys. Either one of these guys, Peter Woods or Caden McDonald, and you put them alongside Derek Brown. I'd rather have Cassius Howe than Keldrick Falk. Me too, for sure. I like players with production. I hear you. Could you imagine, though? Could you imagine Caden McDonald, man? A 6'3", 326-pound man that he is. I don't think we would have to worry about any opposing teams running the ball against us. I can tell you that. But he would immediately stabilize your interior alongside Derek Brown. He would give us a far more reliable presence against downhill rushing attacks. He's just a very strong, disciplined, doesn't get bullied off the ball, very effective player, right? So those are some other guys. Now, I'm only going to talk about 2 offensive players tonight. And my first offensive player is going to be tied in nonetheless. Kenyon Sadiq. Let's not, by the way, can we not sleep on Eli Stowers, by the way? But Kenyon Sadiq, man, I like him. Is he my favorite tight end in this draft? No, he's not. My favorite tight end in this draft is Eli Stowers. I think if we're talking about from a production standpoint, if you're talking about I like Eli Stowers a lot, man. A lot more than I do Sadiq, in my opinion. And there was another one I was looking at the other day that you can't sleep on. Where was he at? Was it Tanner? Tanner. This guy, Tanner Kozoil, was another guy I was looking at the other day. Don't sleep on Tanner Kozoil either. But we are going to talk about Kenyon Sadiq real quick. I do like Kenyon Sadiq. Don't get me wrong. I do like him. He's not my favorite tight end, right? But I do think Kenyon I think that's how you pronounce his last name, Sadiq. I do think that Sadiq does check all the boxes. Speed, strength, reliable hands, legit effort as a blocker. He's not a finished product, though. As an inline blocker yet, the foundation is real for him, and everything else already plays at a high level. I think Jadavion Sanders was having a strong year before breaking his ankle in week 17, but the league is shifting around towards 2-3 tight end sets, right? Depth and versatility at that spot aren't optional anymore, really. They're a matchup heavy. But you pair Sadiq with Tedero McMillan and Jalen Coker, and maybe I guess you could say Xavier Legette. I'm trying not to say his name, but again, suddenly Dave Canal is an offense that is a nightmare to defend, especially in the red zone, third down, and especially for Bryce Young. That's definitely some support right there that turns good into dangerous. And then my last offensive player I want to talk about is, of course, Mr. Lemon himself. I do like Lemon. Lemon, if Lemon's still there when they're on the clock, you can have a conversation, chat. But I'm not taking Lemon if Cassius Howe is still there, or Peter Woods are still there, or if Kedrick Falk is still there, or Sony Styles is still there, or CJ Allen is still there. I'm not taking him over those guys. Not because of the talent. The talent's there. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying from a what this team really truly needs standpoint, right? Lemon is slightly undersized, but he is the best route runner in this entire class. It's not even close. Just from watching him in his tape. He's crisp, precise, nasty with his releases. Once he gets the balls in his hands, he's an electric player. That there's no doubt about that. He consistently makes defenders miss and creates yardage where there shouldn't be any. I think if you paired Lemon up with McMillan and Coker, you have the best young receiver trio in the league easily, right? That's flat out dangerous. Okay. Makes Bryce Young's life so much easier. Wouldn't matter who's under center. But I can tell you that. So, but without further ado, let's do a quick mock draft. Of course, I love to do these at the end of the show with you guys. I don't want to do a 7-round one. I might just do a 5-round. Actually, I'm gonna do a 3-round. I'm gonna do a 3-round. Just the first 3. 7 rounds gets crazy. And I'm just doing straight up. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So what do we got? We got Caden McDonald, TJ Parker, Kenyon Sadiq, CJ Allen, all on the board. I mean, I like Caden McDonald, but I'm not taking Caden McDonald. With TJ Parker on the board, I'm probably leaning towards that. Let's go with TJ Parker. All right. Now let's see what else is on the board. All right. All right. Let's see what we got here. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Let's see what linebackers we got. Oh, Jacob Rodriguez is still there. Josiah Trotter still there. I might hold out on Jacob. What do we got at the safety position? Do like Emmanuel McNeil Warren. Guys, if you don't know about Emmanuel McNeil Warren, you need to do your homework. You need to do your homework on Emmanuel McNeil Warren. Do not sleep on him. Do not sleep on him. A very versatile physical safety. Great run support as well. He's got a ball stripping ability, excellent instincts in zone coverage, great hip movement by him as well. I've seen great size and strength, needs to improve deep coverage consistently. Top end speed as well, very, very fast. I mean, very, very fast. I think he's a potential day one pick, in my opinion. He could be. Maybe it depends on how he does at the combine if he does do that. But the best thing that I do like about him is that he's often used as a hybrid linebacker too. That's one thing I do like about him. And we all know how Evero likes his hybrid linebacker. So I'm going to take Emmanuel McNeil Warren with my next pick. Because I think I'm going to be able to get Mr. Jacob Rodriguez with my third pick. I have a feeling he's going to fall to me. And, hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right. Zachariah Branch is a stud. And he most certainly did. And Dennis Sutton also fell to me too. Shit. I like that as well. But we're going to take Mr. Jacob Rodriguez. You were thinking it too there, Cyburn. You were thinking it too there. We just did a quick 3-rounder. As I get more acclimated with the some more of these guys out here, because again, I'm doing a lot of homework. But overall, gave me a B. I don't mind this, though. I do not mind that. Yes, he has been watching his film today. Nice, Cyber. Yeah, I gotta catch up on some more guys, man. I gotta catch up on some more guys for you guys. So, all right, guys. Well, I appreciate you. We're gonna obviously there's more to come, of course, of draft content, me breaking guys down. We'll do some more game film on some more guys as well as we go throughout the off season. So make sure you guys tune in. Again, do me a favor, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you click that post notifications bell. Go check out my latest pre-recorded video talking about Dave Canales, the good, the bad, the ugly. Should he get an offensive coordinator? Right. I talk about all of that in that most recent pre-recorded video that I just posted last night. So go check it out. Other than that, guys, I will see you possibly tomorrow. Y'all know what to do. Keep pounding. Peace.